Today we will be talking about the solar system. All right, so you might be asking yourself, well, what's in our solar system? Our solar system consists of a star known as the sun, 9 planets because I still like Pluto, but really 8 planets. It also has moons, asteroids, comets, meteors, interplanetary gas, some dust, and all the space in between them. So the 9, because I like Pluto, but really 8 planets of the solar system are named for Greek and Roman gods and goddesses. So here are inner and outer planets. Your inner planets, you have your Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. Your outer planets, you have Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and the dwarf planet known as Pluto. Recap time number 1. Come up with a way to remember the order of the planets that nobody has heard before. So I don't want to hear about your mom making some nachos. All right, I want something new, improved, better than ever. All right, so here is a picture of the relative size of the planets. So if you kind of had a relative look at them, as you can see, Mercury, very small, Venus, Earth, about the same size, right? Mars, a little bit bigger than Mercury, pretty small. Then Jupiter and Saturn are enormous, very, very large. And then you have Uranus and Neptune, but also fairly large. And then Pluto, way out there at the end there. All right, so the sun. So the sun's energy comes from nuclear fusion. This is where hydrogen is converted into helium. So within the core of the sun. So this energy is released from the sun and it gives off that beautiful heat and light. Remember that stars produce light and planets reflect that light that the star produces. So a star's temperature is determined by its color. The coldest stars are red, the hottest stars are blue. So think about our sun. Yep, it's kind of yellowish, right? It's kind of a medium star there. So the 8 planets of the solar system, the great 8, the real 8 planets are categorized according to their composition, means what they're made of, and their size. So there are 2 categories. You have your small rocky planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Then you have your gas giants, your Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. So what are those small rocky planets? What are some characteristics, you might be asking? Well, they're made up of rock and metal. They're heavy. They move slowly in space, probably because they're heavy. They have no rings and very few moons, if any. And they have a diameter of less than 13,000 kilometers. Whoa, hello there. All right, so Mercury, one of those rocky ones. My computer's being fun. So Mercury has a revolution period of 88 days. So that means it goes around the sun in 88 days. Mercury has extreme temperature fluctuations. It can range from 800 degrees Fahrenheit to negative 270 degrees Fahrenheit. That is crazy. So even though it's the closest planet to the sun, scientists believe there is ice on Mercury. The ice is protected from the sun's heat by crater shadows. Very cool. Venus. So Venus is the brightest object in the sky, after the sun, of course. And moon, because its atmosphere reflects sunlight so very well. So people often mistake it for a star. Its maximum surface temperature may reach 900 degrees Fahrenheit, pretty toasty. Venus has no moons, and it takes 225 days to complete an orbit. Beautiful, the one and only the Earth. It's the only planet known to support living organisms. We have 71% of that surface being water. Liquid water is necessary for life. The oceans help maintain Earth's stable temperatures. And Earth has 1 moon and an oxygen-rich atmosphere. Earth's moon. Earth's moon, it takes the moon approximately 29 days to complete 1 rotation. All right. The same side of the moon always faces us. The moon's surface is covered in dust of rocky debris. And the moon reflects light from the sun onto the Earth, because if there was no sun, it wouldn't reflect the light. So you might be asking yourself, why do we always see the same side of the moon? So that's because its revolution around the Earth and its rotation on its axis is synchronized. So you always are going to see the same side of the moon. All right, Mars. So Mars, like Earth, has ice caps at the poles. Cool. Mars has the largest volcano in our solar system, known as Olympus Mons. Olympus Mons is approximately 15 miles high. Think about how crazy high that is. So Mars appears red because of the iron oxide or rust in its soil. And Mars has 2 moons and takes about 2 years to complete an orbit. So just about double what we do. Pluto, just because y'all will be manning a mission there or going past there in your mission, Pluto has only 1 moon and takes about 249 years to orbit the sun. you would probably be deceased unless you have some crazy technology before you make one revolution. So a part of Pluto's orbit passes inside that of Neptune. So at times, Neptune is the planet furthest from the sun. Very interesting fact. Pluto is located and named in 1930, but today Pluto is no longer considered a planet because, times change. Recap time number 2. What are the characteristics of the rocky planets? And what are the names of those rocky planets? Characteristics of gas giants. So they're made up of mostly gas. Well, they're gas giants. Primarily hydrogen and helium. They are very light for their size. They move quickly in space. They have rings and many moons. And they have a diameter of less than 48,000 kilometers. Very large. So Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest and most massive planet. Its diameter is 11 times bigger than that of Earth's. That's wild. It takes about 12 years for Jupiter to orbit the sun, and Jupiter has 16 current moons. Saturn. Saturn is composed almost entirely of hydrogen and helium. Saturn has many rings made of ice, and the rings are very wide. They extend outward to about 260,000 miles from the surface, but are less than 1 mile thick. So think about that, 260,000 miles. That's just wild to think about how far that is. Saturn has 18 known moons, some of which orbit inside of the rings. Very cool. So it takes Saturn about 30 years to orbit the sun. So you get about three and a half orbits if you're lucky in your life. Wild. Uranus. So it is blue and is due to the methane in its atmosphere. So the methane gas creates that blue color. Uranus has 11 dark rings surrounding it, and it has 21 known moons and takes 84 years. 84 to get around that beautiful sun. Neptune. So Neptune has the fastest winds in the solar system, 2,000 kilometers per hour. That's fast. So Neptune is also blue in color due to methane in its atmosphere, and it takes 165 years to orbit the sun, and it also has 8 moons. Recap time number 3, final one. We're happy. We're finally made it. So what are the characteristics of the gas planets? And what are the names of those gas planets? Thank you for watching and learning about our solar system.